Hello and welcome to the DFS_PhD show for the Saturday slate on January 6th. Remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money. Almost us. Might as well almost be us. Boy, oh boy. Easy slate yesterday, as long as you left a little bit of wiggle room at center after lock. And some of us were being too fancy with our Isaiah Jackson fork. And so I thought, oh, great, at least he'll smash in garbage time. Isaiah Jackson does not return in garbage time. So my best lineup could have been a lot better if I had gone, obviously Mo Wagner instead of this trash. But anyway, that's why you leave room for late news. You never know what you're going to get, but boy, like right after that game locked, we got news that all of the Magic centers have become questionable. And I was like, okay. I didn't see, we got one really nice in the Discord from KC Rooks. Yeah, Miles Turner was fun. I mean, that was a good fork. And wow, I'm glad Norm got there. That I'm impressed. But it turned a lot of you guys have joined me after my very first win. I mean, you see Haywood Highsmith on the wall and stuff, and I have occasionally boosted the other videos, but this is me on the night where I win my very first time, $90,000.
Will you tell us what happened? Why are you so excited?
Keep my heart rate low. I'm thinking off a lot.
You should go eat some ice cubes.
That's right. I think I can. Good idea.
All right, so just wanted to get you guys up on the lore. And yeah, that was the kind of video that I hope to be shooting again this weekend. I am reminded of it, of course, because we have an interesting slate. We have an interesting slate where all of a sudden it's a 2-gamer again, and next weekend it's a 3-gamer. It's the 3-gamer. It's like, oh wow, you've been pretending all these basketball slates are practice for next weekend. No, this is the practice. You get one trial run at a broken slate. I mean, I guess we get one next Saturday as well, so I'll go hard on that as well for practice. But next Sunday, this is what it's all about. Short football slates. It's what you've been practicing all year. You might as well practice Sims, NFL Sims, instead of practicing stupid NBA games. Now, granted, I enjoy NBA for different reasons. That's why we're in the finals. Like, it is awesome. I love seeing the qualifiers for the playoff millionaire, that NBA millionaire. That's the one, man. That's why I'm in the position I'm in right now. And again, so is Haywood Highsmith. I'm never gonna forget you, dude. Gabe Vincent, all the guys who made it possible, Max Struess, everybody who hit shots just when I needed them to, and not a second more. But today's slate is easy street, easy street. So that's why another reason I'm locking it. I see tremendous edge there because so if you're not aware of the playoff situation, Baltimore does not need to win. Baltimore will be resting all their dudes. So SaberSim even is not quite on that yet. SaberSim currently projecting the following dudes to play that we do not project to actually play very much. Aguilar, if likely plays, you wouldn't expect to see more than a couple of quarters. I don't know if I expect to see him at all. Bateman, I'm not sure if it's going to be Gus Bus. I think Gus Bus definitely sitting. I think Justice Hill possibly sitting because they don't need any of these guys today. So the guys I think it's actually going to be, I thought I had changed these projections. I meant to have changed these projections a little bit so that they are higher for Laquon. No, my bad. I did that for the Houston guys because we've got Houston value as well as Baltimore value. Because so with Baltimore, they're resting all their guys. So you got guys who are going to be the wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 probably, and Laquon Treadwell and Tylan Wallace. And Wallace returned a punt for a touchdown earlier this year. You might have seen him. He's very fast. So if he actually gets out there running those go routes, Tyler Huntley might be able to just toss the ball up and he catch one. Granted, I don't really think that offense is going to run like that. But nonetheless, darts, yeah, you're definitely taking Tylan Wallace darts. You're definitely taking Laquon Treadwell darts, especially if these guys are at literally zero ownership. They won't be by lock. I think the field is sharper than this. I really hope the field is sharper than this. If not, congratulations to the viewers of this video finally getting some edge. All right, so the other one is Charlie Kolar. So people are Isaiah Likely. Remember how he was awesome? Well, Charlie Kolar is the version of him on the bench for when they do this. You've seen it happen a few times before, a few times in the preseason. He can catch those little dump offs. Those are the dump offs he should be getting thrown. Those need to be passed. So that's yeah, that's the situation clear best values on the slate are John Metchie III and Xavier Hutchison beside Charlie Kolar. So so the reason why you're not necessarily having to slam the Baltimore guys, and the reason why it's kind of a fun slate still, is that there are so many min price guys who are completely in play. This is assuming Robert Woods does not play. That's where it seems like if you don't practice at all leading, honestly, I hope he's in. I hope he's ruled in, because I don't think he plays very much at all, even if he's ruled in. If you don't practice all week due to an ankle injury, you're not in good shape. I mean, you're not ready to run, right? I mean, you might test it out pregame and feel ready to go and still set it out after a couple of routes, right? So, and you might try that because it's an important game. So anyway, regardless of if he's in or not, I am not going to Robert Woods. I am going to min price, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, min price. How? Number one, they played last week. So John Metchie III and Xavier Hutchison, right? I pulled this up earlier. I'm pretty sure John Metchie III was already wide receiver 2 last week. So it's kind of DraftKings mistake that we get this opportunity. But since we have this opportunity, let's drive a bus through it and win some money. Last week, obviously, week 17 is all that matters from the other side. So snap percent, Robert Woods, Nico Collins, and already playing wide receiver 2 levels, John Metchie III. Yeah, granted, he didn't catch a pass last week, but he shouldn't have been mid-price. Give me a break. I mean, anyway, so Robert Woods is out. You're definitely getting him up, and you're getting, I mean, look what they did. 1, 2, and 3. You might see another 50% of snaps. Hutchison was already at 40% of snaps. Neither one of these guys should have been mid-price. It's a mistake by DraftKings. Oh yeah, we don't need to see that again. I've lost about 20 pounds since that video. What with being richer. Becomes a lot easier to lose weight. Anyway, so, okay. Also, we had a whole summer where, like, the strike and stuff, we didn't have jobs. All right, so overall, the way that things go on this slate doesn't seem to be too tough to figure out. I did it so it is also a short slate. So I should say you will need to consider uniqueness. So I pulled it out because I'm 20 maxing the $3 today. I'll take like one hand build in the 500K, but mostly I'm looking at the millionaire tomorrow for that. Don't want to use up my luck that way. I'll take a little bit of luck for a little bit of money. But so I know we have a different kind of number that we're looking for here because it's a classic slate rather than a showdown, which is normally where we look for uniqueness filters. But it's a 2-game slate. We really do have to pay attention to it. And what I like to do is try to be strictly unique. So I set that to 1.4. You can be a little bit stricter if you want and set it to like 0.6. But what I try to do is leave salary on the table, which puts the other 0.4 out of business. So I'm going to keep it at 24 for my geometric mean of ownership for that. So let's see what the difference is between the non-uniqueness filtered and the unique. So also with the non-uniqueness filtered, I went a little bit lower in salary just because I think if you're not filtering for uniqueness, you should nonetheless avoid a few lineups. Just like in Showdown, there's going to be a bunch of lineups. I mean, probably like the one I entered in all of the single entries, right? I mean, that's where you should put those lineups. Put the best lineups in single entry and then come over here to GPP and enter all of the other permutations of them. And we can chop because, I mean, that's probably what's going to happen. It's going to be tough to avoid a chop. I mean, wide receiver 3 for Baltimore. That's another thing that you can mix in the mix. Definitely some guy is going to be out there 40% who is on the practice squad this week for Baltimore. So good luck if you can choose that one out of the hat. I will probably take 15% shots on every single person with a name for Baltimore wide receivers. I mean, right? Wasn't there room on Houston even, right? Beyond. Yeah. So Nico, Robert Woods, or sorry, if Woods is out, Nico, Metchie, Hutchison, and who else? I mean, like, who else was out there? Anybody? Was anybody out there at all? Nobody was out there at all. Is that accurate? Yeah. So, like, all season? Do we have another guy who could possibly be there? Noah Brown ruled out, Tank Dell injured. So same thing for Houston. There's going to be somebody, if Woods is out today, that's called up off the practice squad who should be 15% in your lineups. I don't know who it is. I've never heard this guy in my life. He's not played a snap this year. Do we have anybody projected in this wide receiver room for any points at all? No. There's no way to do it. I mean, you've never heard of any of these guys. So that's huge edge. And because that's going to come out at like in the middle of the slate. So I would recommend making some moves based on that. But okay. Overall, the no uniqueness filtered lineups are 100% Jonathan Taylor, Nico Collins, and Michael Pittman Jr. And that's fine. Either way, those are the highest 3 scoring people on the slate, almost definitely. Same thing with Devin Singletary. I think it's fine to lock in all 4 for all of your lineups. There, I just don't expect anything else to happen here. Metchie, 67% seems low. I mean, once what's his name gets ruled out, Woods comes. If Woods is ruled out, you can maybe allow Metchie to be close to a lock button. He's a guy who's drafted in best ball. He's a guy we've expected to be good when he gets snaps for a long time. I'm aware what this guy can do. Xavier Hutchinson, a little bit less, but same kind of like he's gonna have a 50% boost from that news. So what I've done with these guys projection wise is I redistributed Robert Woods between Xavier Hutchison and John Metchie, and currently did not put anybody else there. I have Kolar and all of the Baltimore guys, Laquon, Treadwell, and Tylan Wallace set to 10, and I have all of their starters out. Now, we're going to have to change the ownership because presumably the field will catch up with this. But assuming that's the way it goes, then there's no surprise where you're getting the Saber Sim pieces are like Dalton Schultz and Gardner Minshew for your non-CJ Stroud lineups. But that makes sense. Those are the only 2 quarterbacks playing in competitive games today. You do not play a quarterback from the first game. Not on the list. I mean, if they get there, congratulations to the winners. Congratulations to the 13% of contrarian people who just simply in their lives must be contrarian. But I mean, 13% to me overestimates the chance that either of these guys get there. Pittsburgh does not want to throw the ball, and they're not going to have to throw the ball. They're going to go over here to running back land. So you probably need to take some shots on Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. But beyond covering the field, do you need to be there? No. And like, so this is a place where I've set limits that I'm not sure about. Let's see if they've taken care of it in the flex. They have not really taken care of it in the flex. I've got no Jalen Warren or Najee in the flex. Did I allow them in the flex? It's a mistake not to allow them in the flex. No, I allowed them and we just didn't get to any. 0% in the pool is curious. So we allowed them, but we didn't get there. Well, whatever reason, I would expect probably a little bit more of Najee and or Jalen in optimal, but I think I'm fine with fading them just because they're at 89% owned. I don't know if I think you have to have one of them. And this is kind of imputing that the field thinks you have to have one of them. I don't know, guys. I'm not sure you have to have one of them today. And if that's going to give me edge, then I might lean into that edge. And speaking of, let's go over to when you add the uniqueness filter, when you add this whatever number of uniqueness, which I think I said was 24. This still says 29 in the rule, but I set it to 24. So I should change the rule to let people know. Okay. Did it generate enough lineups? 661. Yeah, that's still enough. Did it do anything crazy? Am I upset with this? No, we still have locked in Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman, and Nico Collins almost 100%, literally 100% for a couple of them. I am running 40 lineups. I don't know if I said that already, so that's why the number is 40 here. Coming to a lot of Laquon Treadwell. So that's okay. I get it. We're going to the more of the Boston guys to get different, and that's totally fine. However, we are imputing them an ownership of 0, so let's put it to something reasonable. They'll be like at least 1% owned. So, I don't think that's going to change the lineups very much, but it will change the geometric mean of the ownerships. So, you got to put in numbers where there are not numbers. Tylan Wallace, yeah, because see with Tylan, we get a lot less of him, but that's because they're expecting 6% of him already because we're being reasonable about him out. And I mean, like honestly, probably eventually, once Woods get ruled out, 20%, he's going to be much more owned. But we'll get there when we get there. I don't want to have to re-click a bunch of these ownerships. I just think that, yeah. Wait, we're not waiting for anybody to be ruled out for Baltimore. That's just a mistake. Okay, so, well, 15. Yeah, oh, right. The Saber Sim is making the mistake, though. So maybe they make it all the way. I don't know what they're doing with expectations for Baltimore depth today. But I expect the field to be sharper than Saber Sim is expecting on Tylan Wallace. And what's this other guy who I had never heard of before in my life? Laquon Treadwell. But both of them are going to play a lot. Now, do I want 75% of Laquon Treadwell? That seems like kind of a lot. I think I can probably get to a little bit less and be happy. But he's fine. So I don't know, 50%, 35%. So now it's still insisting I have to take 70% Laquon Treadwell. It's a bit much. I'm very limited on my John Metchie. I'm very limited on my Nico. Or is Nico still 100%? Nico's 100%. Metchie. I'm not getting to any Hutchison. What? That's kind of confusing to me. I don't understand how you would do that. So I'm gonna have to figure out. I don't really expect to get to massive amounts of. Oh, Hutchison is at. Oh, I've imputed him an ownership of 15%. Yeah, so that's why we're fading him in the to get different role and say, I don't know. I don't really like that. I'll probably go with the other one, the one that has no uniqueness filters, and just see, because it's a classic slate. First of all, the number of lineups difference is 661 versus if you don't filter it, it's like 1500, 1800, so 1200. So half the lineups are expected to not be unique enough. I don't think I ran this with any. I didn't run this with any uniqueness filter. You could, I guess, layer in like a medium uniqueness filter, but I don't think you need to do that. I think I like the way these lineups look when they were, yeah, 68% Metchie and 35% Hutchison. Being over the field on those pieces seems important, and letting my Laquon Treadwell be more like a 35% hit. Yeah, okay. I did set a rule. I don't know if I even mentioned it, but you know the rule. Max 1, Pitt RB, right? I mean, they could both get there. We could have a Miami situation. I just explained the game script that gets there, right? They get up early from a Jalen Warren passing long ball, and then both of them could get there because Najee will just ram it down their throats the rest of the game, and that's definitely the game plan. So, I mean, they'll run the legs out of Najee. They don't care about him at all. And so they could both get there. I've just talked myself into maybe relaxing that rule, maybe allowing a little bit more, but I just can't. I mean, the guys that are better than them are better than them. Taylor and Singletary are both better than them on this slate. Both of them are going to be more or less, what's the word? Bell cow backs in a game that matters. So I really have trouble getting away from them to play the Pittsburgh guys, especially since the Pittsburgh guys are still at pretty high ownership. I think that's a regardless of uniqueness take. I think I'm just not going to get there on the Pittsburgh guys, which I did limit. I mean, they're limited in both of them to 25% each, so it's not incidental. But yeah, actually, they're kind of forcing them in there a little bit in the uniqueness levers, I think is what people are calling it. All right, well, it's been nice talking. I have had some coffee today, so no excuse for any loose talk or any mistakes, but thank you again for joining me. It's great to see you now, well over 200 subscribers, so thanks. Continue to like and comment, subscribe, and yeah, keep boosting us in the algorithm. And remember, you're good enough, you're strong enough, and gosh darn it, someone's got to win that money today, even though it's kind of clear how.